to a specific question for the gubernatorial candidates. Actually, there are 3 questions that I'm combining here together. They all have to do with mass media, communications in Wyoming, and image of those of you who are candidates for governor. One of the questions complains about the fact that candidates for Wyoming governor are being portrayed as cowboys, and says, I want a governor who's a savvy business person and politician, not a cowboy. Please help. And then the other question has to do with complaints about those citizens of Wyoming who subscribe to direct television services rather than cable, who are not able to get Wyoming media at all. And therefore, they are not seeing your cowboy advertisements, if in fact such a thing exists. I happen to be one of those on a direct TV system, so I wouldn't know about that issue. And the other has to do with communication monopolies and how you feel about that. So we'll begin with Matt Mead.
Matt Mead, Republican for governor. What a coincidence I get this question first. Well, I'm a 4th-generation rancher, and I'm going bald, so I do wear a cowboy hat, and my forehead gets quite burned these days. Listen, I've heard that complaint as well, and here's what I say. I think when we talk about the cowboy image, I think it transcends the ranching life. To me, what it means is it portrays the independent spirit of Wyoming, our can-do attitude in Wyoming, the great open spaces, the fresh, the clean air, the clean water, and the way we treat one another. And so, to those who are offended by that because they're not doing that, or they don't believe that's a cowboy image, that's how I view it, and I hope most people in Wyoming view it that way. The other thing I would say is that ranching is a business, and more it's a business. From anything from artificial insemination to how you market your cattle, it is a business, and it's a business experience, and I'm proud of that business experience. As far as DirecTV, I will tell you that I don't have DirecTV. I have cable, and it is one of the concerns that we have in trying to get out our image, however it may be perceived, to as many voters as we can. And I also know, for example, in Baggs, Wyoming, when I visited the school down there, the principal said, really appreciate you coming down, really appreciate your work, but I got to tell you, because we don't get much in the way of Wyoming TV, our kids will know more about Colorado elections than Wyoming elections, and that's a problem.
Well, I'm kind of a hybrid too. I have to admit, I was a Du Bois cowgirl for a long time, and proud of my heritage on the CM Ranch in Du Bois, one of the oldest guest ranches in Wyoming. And I think that perhaps the viewing the country through the eyes of the Easterners who came to visit us perhaps opened my eyes to many of the attitudes that made me a lifelong conservationist. So, but I've also been in business and 20 years as a realtor in a very competitive real estate market in Jackson Hole, among other things, among public offices and other things. But image in Wyoming, I really can't apologize for the cowboy image. I'm proud of it, I have to say. But I'm not only a cowboy. As far as the media in Wyoming, we all know how complicated it is. You can't really run TV ads because you've got to be a billionaire to do it, running them at Billings and Denver and Salt Lake and all the outlying markets. So we know that we need greater connectivity in Wyoming. We need better high-speed internet connectivity through our whole state, and we would be way better off if we could have many of our citizens access to our Wyoming TV, and I honestly have no way to bring that about at this point, no knowledge of how to do that.
Tom Euban. I guess I just probably always wanted to be a cowboy. But no, I don't live on a ranch or anything like that. I have ridden a lot of horses, things like that, but I'm proud to live in Wyoming. I know that for a fact. I don't think you could ever get me to leave Wyoming. I've enjoyed it so much. But with the communications, I don't have DirecTV. I have Dresden, and I enjoy it immensely because the reason I do have it is so that I can watch when I can't get to the game or the game's out of town. I can watch it on TV, and I really enjoy it a lot. But in the communication, we need to really strive to get more high-speed internet services, more communications in the state. I don't know exactly how, but that would be a very important thing for small business, because small business really needs to have that high-speed internet services so that people can run their businesses from Wyoming and from their ranches and from wherever they're living in the state. But that's about all I know about the communication levels.
Rita Meyer?
Rita Meyer, candidate, are we on? Rita Meyer, candidate for governor, AKA cowgirl, businesswoman, elected official, and military veteran. And I think it's important that the people of Wyoming have candidates that have a diverse set of backgrounds and experiences. And that's what I bring to the race, a very diverse set of experiences and proven leadership skills. The reason I send lots of mailings to you and use the United States Post Office is because I certainly understand that some of you are not able to see the television ads that we have up and running. That is a difficult situation for the state of Wyoming. It's not going to be resolved anytime soon. We have to make tough choices in our campaigns. We have finite resources, and we want to reach as many of you as possible, as many times as possible, so we use a variety of strategies. I'd like to say that the governor has a silver bullet in terms of handling these communication issues, but frankly, a lot of them do reside with the federal government. But I'm certainly aware of them. I travel the state. I know where the cell phone works and where it doesn't, and frankly, it works less often than it should. I also know the difficulty of reliable connectivity with regards to internet and the troubles we experience as we travel around the state. So I hear you, I understand the problem. If I had a silver bullet, I would lay it out tonight for all of you, and then hopefully you would vote for me. But I do understand the issue. Thank you.
Mr. Meek?
You want me to answer again?
Or did you already answer?
I did. It
Oh,
was
I'm
not
sorry.
memorable.
One more try.
Pete goes, our Democratic candidate for governor. I too am proud of my cowboy tradition, but it was a Saturday cowboy tradition, and you know, it taught me those things that are important to being a business, small business owner, which I am here in Laramie. And it also has taught me many things about running for governor. And you know, as you go around, and people say, well, you know, you have all volunteer staff, and they say, you know, you're not going to be as funded as many of the other people here. And they roll their eyes, and then you go, well, I hear you. But we use something else. We use what we take the feet around. And if you're going to get a commercial, it's going to be a personal commercial for my campaign. We'll come to your door. We'll talk to you about it. It's an interactive approach to campaigning. And so I am proud of my cowboy tradition. In fact, the communications monopoly, I'm familiar with also as a Westerner on the state here. My mom rails about Utah television because she can't find the Pokes on Saturdays. You know, you're going to watch BYU or you're going to watch Utah, and that's just not going to cut it. So I would do something about the communication problem we have on the west part of the state. But I am proud of being a cowboy, and it has helped, and it serves me every day in this campaign and in business.
I believe that's everyone now, right? Okay.